Hello everyone, welcome back to our deep dive series where we break down complex topics and make learning simple. Today we are diving into an idea that could transform India's electoral system, simultaneous elections, popularly known as One Nation, One Election. From streamlining governance to addressing the unique challenges of a diverse country like India, this concept promises sweeping changes. In today's video, we will unpack everything. What exactly are simultaneous elections? Why is this idea making headlines? What are its potential benefits and challenges? And most importantly, why is this topic so significant for UPSC preparations? Let's start with the basics. Simultaneous elections mean conducting elections for Lok Sabha, state legislative assemblies, and local bodies like panchayats and municipalities at the same time. It's important to note that this does not necessarily mean voting will take place on a single day across the country, but it would follow a synchronized schedule. Now, here's an interesting fact. India actually followed this system from 1951 to 1967. During this period, elections for Lok Sabha and state assemblies were conducted together. However, this cycle was disrupted when some state assemblies and Lok Sabha were dissolved prematurely. Since then, elections have been staggered, happening at different times across states. Today, the government wants to bring back the system through constitutional amendments and procedural reforms aiming to streamline the electoral process and reduce the frequency of elections. So why is everyone talking about simultaneous elections now? Recently, the Union Cabinet accepted recommendations from a high-level committee chaired by former President Ramnath Kovind. This committee proposed a phased approach to implement simultaneous elections. In Phase 1, elections for Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies would be synchronized. In Phase 2, elections for local bodies like panchayats and municipalities would follow within 100 days. To make this possible, several key constitutional amendments are required. For example, changes to Article 83 and 172 are necessary to align the terms of Lok Sabha and state assemblies. These amendments would ensure that elections for both levels of government are held together in a synchronized manner. The government has already taken a significant step by introducing the Constitutional 129th Amendment Bill of 2024. This bill aims to empower the Election Commission of India to conduct simultaneous elections. It includes provisions for managing scenarios like premature dissolutions or term extensions, ensuring that the electoral cycle remains synchronized even in challenging situations. With these legislative efforts underway, the concept of one nation, one election has moved from being an idea to a tangible proposal, sparking widespread debate about its potential impact on India's democracy. Let's take a closer look at why simultaneous elections could be truly a game changer for India. First and foremost, cost savings. Did you know that the 2024 general elections alone cost nation over 1 lakh crores? That's an enormous sum. Imagine how much of that money could be redirected towards building schools, improving healthcare, or upgrading infrastructure. By synchronizing elections, we can significantly cut down on these expenditures, freeing up the funds for areas that directly impact people's lives. Next, we have reduced deception. Frequent elections can feel like endless cycle, disrupting governance, daily routines, and even education. Schools are often converted into polling stations, businesses are affected by campaign activities, and governance slowdowns due to restrictions of Model Code of Conduct. With simultaneous elections, these disruptions are minimized, allowing life to go on uninterrupted. Uninterrupted governance is another critical benefit. Right now, governments are in campaign mode every few months, making it difficult to focus on long-term planning and decision-making. Synchronizing elections eliminates this constant pressure, enabling policymakers to concentrate on strategic goals without the distractions of frequent electoral campaigns. Let's also talk about efficient reuse of resources. Elections require a massive deployment of personnel like teachers, police officers, and administrators are pulled away from their regular duties to manage polling. This not only creates strain on public services but also disrupts their core responsibilities. Simultaneous elections reduces burden, ensuring resources are allocated more effectively. Another advantage is higher voter turnout. When elections are held separately, voters often experience fatigue, leading to low participation in some polls. By consolidating the process, simultaneous elections can make voting less repetitive and more convenient, encouraging more people to exercise their democratic rights. Policy continuity is another key benefit. Frequent elections mean frequent interruptions, with government hesitant to implement bold policies due to risk of losing voter support in upcoming elections. Synchronizing the cycles ensures that governments have the time and stability needed to execute long-term welfare schemes and development projects without fear of disruption. Then there is the idea of unified electoral roll. Maintaining separate voter lists for multiple elections can lead to redundancy and inefficiency. A single updated electoral roll for all elections simplifies the process, reduces errors, and ensures that every voter is accounted for accurately. Finally, strengthening national unity. Simultaneous elections bring people together in a shared democratic exercise. By engaging citizens across all levels of governance at the same time, it fosters a collective sense of participation in the democratic process, reinforcing unity in a diverse country like India. These benefits highlight how one nation, one election could bring efficiency, stability, and inclusivity to India's electoral process, making it a reform worth considering seriously. While the idea of simultaneous elections has many benefits, it's not without significant hurdles. Let's explore some of the key challenges that need to be addressed for this reform to work effectively. First is the impact on federalism. India's federal structure is designed to give states the autonomy to govern independently. Synchronizing elections could potentially centralize power, reducing the flexibility that states currently enjoy in managing their legislative cycles. This raises concerns about maintaining the balance between national and state interests. Next, we have the risk of overshadowing regional issues. National elections often dominate public disclosure, and in simultaneous elections, there's a real possibility that local and regional concerns could take a backseat. This could harm the representation of regional parties, which play a vital role in addressing state-specific issues. The sheer logistical complexity of conducting simultaneous elections in a country as vast and diverse as India is another major challenge. Imagine coordinating millions of electronic voting machines, setting up of polling stations across urban and rural areas, and deploying personnel to manage the process. The scale of planning and execution required is monumental. Another critical issue is political accountability. Frequent elections act as a report cards, keeping governments accountable to voters at regular intervals. Fixed terms for legislative bodies might reduce this consistent check-in, potentially leading to complacency in governance. Constitutional amendments pose yet another challenge. To align the terms of Lok Sabha, state assemblies, and local bodies, multiple amendments to the constitution are required. Building a consensus among political parties and states to approve these changes could be an uphill task. Then there's the issue of emergency scenarios. If a government is dissolved prematurely due to a no-confidence motion, how you ensure synchronization of election cycles without disrupting the stability of governance? This requires robust legal and procedural mechanisms to address such situations. Voter education is also crucial. Many voters, especially in rural areas, may find it challenging to understand the simultaneous election process for multiple levels of governance. Educating citizens to ensure informed participation will require significant effort and resources. Another concern is the dominance of national parties. Simultaneous elections might lead voters to align their choices for state and national levels, inadvertently sidening regional parties that focus on state-specific issues. The heavy reliance on technology introduces yet another layer of complexity. Conducting elections on this scale would depend heavily on electronically voting machines and voter verifiable paper audit trial systems. Ensuring their reliability and addressing concerns about security and transparency is critical to maintaining public trust in the process. Finally, resource allocation poses a challenge. Simultaneous elections would require significant mobilization of resources, including personal infrastructure and security forces. This could strain local administrative capacities, especially in states with limited resources. These challenges highlight the need for careful deliberation, planning, and phased implementation to ensure that the idea of simultaneous elections can be executed effectively without compromising the core values of India's democracy. While the idea of simultaneous elections presents numerous benefits, implementing it effectively requires addressing significant challenges. So, what's the best way forward? Experts suggest adopting a phased and well-structured approach to ensure smooth transition. Let's break it down. First, pilot projects could be conducted in few states. These tests would allow us to study the feasibility of synchronized elections in a controlled environment. By starting small, we can identify potential issues, refine the process, and develop solutions before rolling it out on a national scale. Second, strengthening the Election Commission's capacity is critical. Organizing elections for entire country simultaneously is no small feat. The Election Commission will need enhanced resources, better infrastructure, and advanced technology to handle the complexities of large-scale elections. Empowering this institution is essential to ensure transparency and efficiency. Third, building consensus among political parties and states is a must. Elections in India involve multiple stakeholders, each with unique perspectives and concerns. To make simultaneous elections a reality, fostering collaboration and dialogue among states, regional parties, and central government is crucial. Only through consensus can this reform gain legitimacy and support it needs to succeed. Finally, we need robust legal frameworks to address situations like premature dissolutions of governments or emergencies. Imagine a scenario where a state assembly or Lok Sabha is dissolved before its term ends. How do we maintain synchronization without causing instability? Clear legal mechanisms must be put in place to handle such scenarios, ensuring that system remains fair and functional. By adopting these measures, starting with pilot projects, strengthening institutions, fostering collaboration, and introducing robust laws, we can move closer to implementing simultaneous elections in a way that preserves the essence of democracy while addressing practical challenges. Now let's talk why simultaneous elections is such an important topic for UPSC aspirants. This concept is highly relevant because it connects to multiple dimensions of UPSC syllabus and provides an excellent opportunity to showcase your understanding in exams. First, let's look at polity and governance. Simultaneous elections touch upon critical issues like constitutional amendments, federalism, and the role of Election Commission in ensuring fair and transparent elections. Questions in prelims or mains could focus on these aspects, such as constitutional provisions involved in the impact on India's federal structure. Next, we have economy. This topic allows you to analyze the financial implications of staggered elections versus simultaneous ones. Think about the potential cost savings and how those resources could be redirected towards development. For instance, imagine writing about how reducing election costs could fund welfare programs or infrastructure projects. Then come ethics. Here, you can reflect on ethical dilemmas involved in balancing governance efficiency with democratic principles. How do we streamline governance while ensuring inclusivity and preserving the autonomy of states? This kind of nuanced thinking can give your answers a strong edge in ethics paper. Finally, let's talk about essay writing. Simultaneous elections is a topic tailor-made for essays. It allows you to present balanced arguments supported by real-life examples and data. You can weigh the benefits like cost savings and policy continuity against the challenges like logistical complexities and potential impact on regional representation. For UPSC aspirants, mastering this topic is not just about memorizing facts, it's about developing the ability to critically evaluate the concept, link it to various subjects, and present well-rounded answers that demonstrate depth and clarity. So take time to explore this topic thoroughly. It is sure to give you an advantage in the exam. Now lastly, simultaneous elections could significantly transform India's electoral landscape by improving efficiency, reducing costs, and enabling uninterrupted governance. However, implementing such a system is not without its complexities. It demands thoughtful deliberation, robust planning, and consensus building to ensure that core principles of democracy and federalism remain intact. As we reflect on this concept, it's essential to weigh its potential benefits against the challenges it presents. The success of any reform lies on its ability to strengthen democratic values while addressing the diverse needs of a country as vast as complex as India. Let this be an opportunity for us to think critically about how we can make India's democratic system more effective and inclusive, ensuring it evolves to meet the demands of a dynamic and growing nation. Thank you for being a part of this important discussion. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.